Namaste. Namaste and welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today to discuss my next series of installments in every planet in every nakshatra. First, we covered the moon through the 27 nakshatras, and now we are going to discuss the sun through the 27 nakshatras. We're going to start with Ashwini Nakshatra and get through Ashlesha today. So I'm very excited to share my research of the sun in every nakshatra. Now, as I mentioned, before I get started, I just want to give honor to all of my teachers, to all of my gurus. We have Dr. Vasant Lad there in the top left. He was an Ayurvedic teacher and astrologer who taught me very much. My Uncle David Newman Durgadas, who's a kirtan musician and has really opened me on the spiritual path. My Jyotish guru, Mahadev Levine, and the person who introduced me to Jyotish, Shimon Shakoisky. So it's such an honor to recognize these teachers, and of course my Maha Guru, Maha Amritananda Mayima Amaji. I give the ultimate salutations to you and honor and respect to you, my blessed Guru. Now, before I get started on the Sun Nakshatra series, I would just like to do a little invocation for the sun to invite the sun's energy into our experience today. So we'll just do this sun chant, and there's Devanagari and transliteration there if you want to follow along. Om Jabakasuma Sankasham Kashapaya Mahadutim Tamorim Sarvapapanganam Pramatusmi Davakaram. Om Jabakasuma Sankasham Kashapaya Mahadutim Tamorim Sarvapapanganam Pranatusmi Davakaram. Om Jabakasuma Sankasham Kashapaya Mahadutim Tamorim Sarvapapanganam Pranatusmi Davakaram. Om Ram Hrim Ram Sahasrayaya Namaha. 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 Om Hrim Hrim Suryaya Namaha. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Thank you for enjoying that sun invocation with me. Now we're going to discuss the sun's activation of nakshatra karma. Now, in many of the ancient texts, Surya is referred to the supreme of devatas because it's related to Agni. And so some families in India, they directly worship the sun, they directly worship Agni. And this is maintained in a lot of ancient cultures as well. Surya is deeply interconnected with these divine forces of Agni and Shiva, and these divine energies manifest deeply in the karmas of the nakshatra placement of the sun. So Surya brings the Agni, which is fire, with it wherever it goes, and it will bring an element of this intense purifying fire and pitta energy to any nakshatra that it transit, because that is that solar fiery heat source in our galaxy. Surya, as an eradicator of Maya, illusion, and ignorance, which shines light on everything, activates the removal of that which is false, both in perception and in experience through various nakshatra activations. So it wants to eradicate anything which is false and shine light on the truth. Now, first, we're going to be discussing the sun in an Ashwini Nakshatra. That's from 0 to 13.2 degrees Aries. Now, Ashwini Nakshatra has the ruling planet Ketu, which is a strict enemy to the sun. And from a Nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a very difficult moon placement. First, these energies are both very fiery and pitta and creates an energy where there might be too much heat in the body or the mind of the individual. But on the positive side, it can create a deep desire to relinquish the ego and move towards humility, even with success. This is a very unique position which creates excessive fire, but also it can be inclined evolutionarily to spirituality. Now, Ashwini Nakshatra has the ruling devata of the Ashwini twins, which is a very special connection to Surya, as being the twin horses that were given birth by Sanjana, the consort of Surya, and Surya in the form of a horse. The sun gains extremely high dignity in this nakshatra and can be considered exalted due to the extremely deep connection between the Ashwini twins and their father, Surya. This creates a powerful alignment in which the sun in Ashwini Nakshatra allows the native to achieve the fruits of their desires both in the material, spiritual, and family aspect. They are deeply connected to the healing sciences and may find themselves drawn towards the medical profession, either in a traditional way like allopathy or a non-traditional way like Ayurveda. This combination truly supports the native to shine and grow in everything they put energy and drive towards. So it really lets them shine, the sun in Ashwini. The positive manifestation of the sun in Ashwini includes a native who is extremely intense, passionate, and enthusiastic in everything they do. They find pleasure in helping, supporting, and offering healing to others in various forms, including medical, emotional, and spiritual support. The evolved manifestation of Sun in Ashwini includes someone who is fully self empowered and successful, but humble and not egotistical. The mature and evolved manifestation of this position allows them to tap into that mystical potential and their connection with spirit, supporting their evolution in many diverse aspects of life. The negative manifestation of the sun in Ashwini includes a native who is way too fiery or pitta and can have an aggressiveness, domineering, controlling, or even narcissistic tendency. An unevolved manifestation of the sun in Ashwini creates a very defiant, rebellious, and aggressively tempered person who is very set in their beliefs, set in their mind, and wishes to influence others with them, potentially for selfish reasons. The negative manifestation also includes an abandonment of the spiritual healing side of this nakshatra and a focus on the material aspect of it, which can ultimately lead to suffering, especially physically. It is a very key evolutionary aspect with this position to temper our fire, our heat, so they don't blaze ourselves and those around us, and to balance the different aspects of life, such as service healing, family spirituality, and our career/work. So that's the sun in Ashwini. And now we're going to discuss the sun in Bharani. The sun in Bharani is from 13.2 degrees to 26.4 degrees Aries. Bharani Nakshatra has the ruling planet Venus, which is an enemy to the sun. From a nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a mixed sun placement, even though it's an exalted in its Rashi. Though many astrologers consider this exaltation, from its interaction with Venus, it can actually create some challenges. The sun in Bharani creates an extremely strong evolutionary energy towards purification, refinement, and ethical morality. The challenging aspect is this creates an energy where we are pushed to purify and grow in ways that are uncomfortable or challenging. A lot of this has to do because Bharani Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Lord Yama. This has a profound influence and relationship with the sun. Lord Yama is often known as the Lord of Death and the one who processes our karma and prepares our soul for reincarnation. The sun has a key karmic energy as the eradicator of ignorance, illusion, falseness. The combination of these energies creates a powerful evolutionary aspect through Lord Yama and Surya to push the native to be extremely ethical, moral, and focused on proper and righteous action, and the concept of action, reaction, consequence, and karma, to have a deep wisdom of this. It is possible with proper focus on the burning of our karmas. The native with the sun in Bharani position can be escorted by Lord Yama through the reincarnation process, which is a profound blessing because normally the Yamadutas, which are his minions, are sent. But the blessing to be taken to the afterlife by Lord Yama himself is only those with these strong Bharani positions, like Sun and Bharani. It is quite pushing, though. The positive manifestation of the sun in Bharani includes a native who is extremely ethical, moral, refined, sophisticated, well-mannered, and kind. They naturally bring other people pleasures through picking the energy up and taking deep interest in the encouragement and support of others. The evolved sun and Bharani native have a balanced relationship with pleasure, enjoying the finer things in life in an evolved and balanced way. They are deeply aware of karma, and so they try to lead a life which is void of inviting bad karma and focuses just on creating good karmic patterns. And establishing self control is a key evolutionary aspect for the sun in Bharani to eradicate this not supportive karma. The negative manifestation of the sun in Bharani includes a native who is misconstrued by illusory aspects of life which don't support the eradication of karma, but rather create challenging karma. This comes from being overly influenced or swayed by the temptational aspects of life and engaging in non-dharmic and karmically negative activities. These illusory activities that the native can be influenced by can be related to drugs, alcohol, sex, self-worth, destructiveness, and aggressiveness. Therefore, it is very important with the sun in Bharani, natives stay focused on the ability to gain control over these temptations and lead a more evolved version of themselves. So that's a little bit about the sun in Bharani. Now we're going to discuss the sun in Krittika Nakshatra, which is a Kṣaṇāti. It starts at 26.4 Aries and it goes into the 10th degree of Taurus. So the sun in Krittika. Now, Krittika Nakshatra has the ruling planet, which means the sun is in its own nakshatra here. This creates extreme potency from a nakshatra dignity perspective. Many astrologers might say that on the Taurus side of this nakshatra, due to Rashi, it's not favorable. But as we dive deeper into nakshatra dignity, we can see that the sun in Krittika is special regardless of Rashi, what side of the Rashi it's on. When the sun enters Krittika nakshatra, it creates a deep cutting effect in which the native is drawn and must get to the source and truth of everything that they seek. They also have deep ancestral connections in which they might find a balance in honoring those ancestral connections, but also being independent. Krittika Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Agni, the lord of fire. Agni is considered a supreme devata, and also another name for the sun is Agni. These energies are deeply interconnected. Lord Agni blesses the sun and Krittika natives with an ability to achieve anything which they put their ambition and power to, cutting through barriers, overcoming obstacles like a fireball. While this position is so fiery that it can burn others, but often that is due to the truth coming out in an aggressive or blunt way. The native draws the truth out of all situations, and Agni and the sun combine here to create a vehicle for the element of fire to express itself in an evolved way. This includes determination and the accomplishment of our material and the desire aspects of life, artha and kama, but can also show a profound fire to honor tradition, which leads to our spirituality and the spirituality of our ancestors, and lead a life that is balanced in its diversity, but every interest is met with profound passion here. Agni will carry the energy of the sun and Krittika natives to have the power to bring and shed light on any situation that is needed. Now, the positive manifestation of the sun in Krittika includes a native who is extremely well empowered within themselves and are not easily influenced by others. They are naturally extremely honest and they yearn to experience truth and they seek truth out of others and encourage truth. They are solution oriented in their evolved manifestation and always seek to bring solutions to issues, problems, and challenging circumstances as they come up. Sun and Critica natives strive for everything that life has to offer, and in its evolved manifestation helps others get to the source of their happiness as well and can inspire and motivate the world. The negative manifestation of the sun in Kritika includes the potential to be brash, aggressive, and even violent. The potent fiery energies of the sun in Kritika can create a temperament which is unbalanced, burnt out, and having trouble overcoming the many obstacles of life, aka a hot mess. This position can be distracted by the desire for power and can be vulnerable to having ego and identity issues. This is a very powerful position with the sun in its own nakshatra, and therefore the evolutionary aspect of being humble is so key here. The sun critica native likes to solve problems, but often that energy is better spent focused on ourselves, solving our own problems, than trying to fix other people. This key evolutionary aspect can be shown in Kritika. It can also show with the challenge the sun in Kritika, the native may be overly attached or influenced by the elders or ancestors of their family, feeling unnecessary obligation or commitment towards them and to serve them. And sometimes there's a deep lesson to break free from those negative influences if they are taking away from our dharma, us being true to ourselves. So that's a little bit about the sun in Kritika. Now we're going to discuss the sun in Rohini Nakshatra, which starts at the 10th degree and goes to 23.2 Taurus. Now, Rohini Nakshatra has the ruling planet Moon, which is a best friend to the sun, and this can be a good nakshatra placement from a nakshatra dignity perspective, even though it's in Venus's Rashi. The sun's influence in this nakshatra combines with the moon's favorite nakshatra can be very intense. This supports the native to have a balance of independence and devotion while fulfilling their purpose. Since it is the moon's nakshatra, it can be a little hot for Rohini and influence lack of self-confidence and empowerment on the challenging side as well. Now, Rohini Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Prajapati, the divine creator. This is a manifestation of the supreme deity Brahma. The natural energy of Rohini Nakshatra can create creative energy and self-sufficiency. And when combined with the aspect of Prajapati, the native can truly create and obtain that which they wish. Prajapati will push the Sun and Rohini native to create the life they want for themselves, their loved ones, and the community that surrounds them. Prajapati can also support the creation of wealth, career fulfillment, and magnetism, in which the Sun and Rohini feels more supportive and meaningful in everything that they do. They can be very successful in anything that they do. The positive manifestation of the sun in Rohini includes a native who is kind, supportive, empathetic, and driven. The evolution of the sun in Rohini supports the native to have success, but balance in multiple areas of life, including wealth, family, and independence. These natives are manifestors and can create the life they wish for themselves and those that they love, and create sustainability for a family structure either in a material or devotional way. The Sun and Rohini natives in their evolutionary journey will achieve fame, success, and prosperity for themselves and others, and they can do it in a very humble way. Now, the negative manifestation of the sun in Rohini includes vulnerability towards vanity and self-obsession. While Rohini positions always brings magnetism, those with unevolved sun Rohini may take advantage of others for their own gains, using their charisma or magnetism for selfish reasons. They can be focused on creating a very independent, materially oriented life and not create much space for other aspects of life, So it kind of doesn't support their overall happiness when you're just work focused. They can also focus so much on their independence that can be challenging, and they can be reclusive and have a hard time interacting with others. Shyness. Uh, from an evolutionary perspective, it is very important with this position to try to get outside of ourselves and be a part of a larger community, serving a larger purpose. So that's a little bit about the sun in Rohini Nakshatra. Now we're going to discuss the sun in Mrigashira Nakshatra, which is another Nakshatra. It starts at 23.2 degrees Taurus and ends at 6.4 Gemini. Now, Mrigashira Nakshatra has the ruling planet Mars, which is a best friend to the sun. From a nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a supportive position for the sun. This position is always seeking the next goal, the next desire, or the next dream in their life that will push themselves intellectually and spiritually to support that achievement. This position could be fiery from the Mars influence, and therefore natives can be intense, passionate, and enthusiastic. Mrigashira Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Soma, the moon lord, as well as Amritam, which is the divine essence of immortality. This nakshatra, when the sun aligns with it, creates an influence of Soma, which can bring a very deep spiritual seeking. As Amritam is also mentioned here, we can begin to understand the native has the potential to seek deep mystical awareness when focused on spirituality. Even though Soma and Amritam makes the native spiritually inclined, they can also be seekers of information, knowledge, and experience, and use the driving energy of the Mrigashira sun position to fulfill all of their ambitions. The Soma and Amritam can bless the sun Mrigashira with the experience of subjective supernatural experiences, as well as glimpses or moments of true serenity, euphoria, and peace. So it's really pushing us to have this divine connection. The positive manifestation of the sun in Mrigashira includes someone who is a deep adventurer, seeker, and mystic. These natives are particularly inclined towards deep mystical explanation through various means, including chanting, meditation, and other mystical techniques. They are determined to find the answers to the questions they seek in life and continue pushing to find the next aspect of life which will fulfill and satisfy them, and they will fulfill it. The negative manifestation of the sun in Mrigashira includes vulnerability toward aggressiveness, bluntness, and always on the go. This combination can create an energy where the native is consumed or obsessed with a certain goal, ambition, or desire, and they feel deeply unfulfilled or unsatisfied until they reach it. They can be focused on the destination of their journey and therefore not focus on the ability to enjoy the journey itself, especially since the sun and Mrigashira natives are looking for that next thing to do and fulfill them. There is a deep evolutionary aspect here with learning to enjoy day-to-day life and be patient and determined with our goals, desires, and dreams. They don't come overnight. And again, there's the great saying, enjoy the journey, not always about the destination. So that's a little bit about the sun and Mrigashira. Next, we're going to be discussing the sun in Ardra Nakshatra. Ardra Nakshatra starts at 6.4 Gemini and goes to 20 Gemini, so it's in the heart of Gemini. Now, Ardra Nakshatra has the ruling planet Sun, which is an enemy to Rahu. From a nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a mixed sun placement. This combination can create someone who is embraced as an outsider and is deeply knowledgeable in many unique and interesting areas. The combination of Sun and Ardra makes the native witty, adaptable, and brings leadership energy and combines it with outsider energy, especially in the sphere of knowledge. Ardra Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Lord Rudra, the fiercest form of Lord Shiva and the Lord of Storms. This energy combines an intensity to this nakshatra that is unlike anything else, an extremely intelligent mind which seeks to look outside the box. The natives are deeply connected to the desire for knowledge of a varied sort with expertise in niche areas, as well as an affinity to do large amounts of research in their field of expertise. Often strong communicators, they like to cut to the truth of the matter and wants truth to be spoken and shared. They will demand honesty, and evolutionary being honest is extremely important for the sun in Ardra. Rudra and Rahu's energies combine to give the sun in Ardra native the potential for mystical or occult knowledge in any of the Vedic or healing sciences. The positive manifestation of the sun in Ardra includes someone who is witty, humorous, intelligent, unique, and a bit eccentric. It supports the native to have a diverse amount of information and multiple skills in many areas and aspects of life. Although Ardra is an outsider nakshatra, it does support the native to embrace the uniqueness of their gifts and share them with the world, to water the seeds they plant. They tend to perceive things differently and therefore may be very innovative or creative in one of their fields of expertise. Sun and Ardra natives are persuasive communicators and have the potential to influence others with their beliefs and, in an evolutionary sense, to support them positively. The negative manifestation of the sun in Ardra includes someone who is closed-minded in their perception and has a tendency towards obsessiveness in certain areas. The challenging manifestation of this position causes the mind and the energy of the native to be preoccupied with certain focuses which might not support their growth or help their expansion in the real world. They can be demanding and have a superiority complex in their level of knowledge. And so is it important with the natives with this sun in Ardra position to be humble and to always think that other people, situations, and circumstances have something to offer that we can learn from. No matter how great our knowledge is, there's always something to learn from another person, from another circumstance. Is a deep lesson here. That's a little bit about the sun in Ardra Nakshatra. Next, I'm going to be discussing the sun in Punarvasu Nakshatra, which is another cusp nakshatra. This starts at the 20th degree of Gemini and goes to 3.2 Cancer. Punarvasu Nakshatra has the ruling planet Jupiter, which is a friend to the sun. From a nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a very powerful placement. The sun in Punarvasu native is inclined to not only be knowledgeable, but also wise. They are evolutionarily inclined to share the wisdom of their experience with others and to learn from others being uh, wisdom as well. They are very kind, thoughtful, and ethical in their disposition. Now, Purnarvasu Nakshatra has the ruling deva of Aditi, Lord of Prosperity, and Lord of Life and limitless and unbounding potential. Aditi is the sun goddess representing life and the energy of prosperity and achieving fulfillment and abundance in our lives. The sun in Purnarvasu combines with the sun goddess Aditi, creates an extremely powerful alignment of solar energy. This creates a strong potential for prosperity and a life in which all of the natives' dreams can be accomplished or fulfilled. The limitless life that Aditi will help create for the Sun and Purnarvasu native will allow them to achieve harmony, success, and balance in various diverse areas of life, including knowledge, family, career, service, spirituality, and education. Aditi truly provides a blessing to Surya, allowing knowledge and determination to have our lives reach their full potential. The positive manifestation of the sun in Narvasu includes someone who is well educated, refined, moral, ethical, kind, and well mannered. They can be very inspiring and magnetic in the sense of wanting to learn from these individuals because of the wisdom they inherently possess through experience and education. These natives can be extremely prosperous and often seek family, career, and spirituality to have balance in their life. Through the goddess Aditi, the sun in Punarvasu native is blessed with the ability to achieve that which they wish, not only for themselves, but to help provide for their family or contribute something positively to the betterment of humankind, the betterment of the environment, the betterment of the universe. The negative manifestation of the sun in Punarvasu includes a native who is afraid to practice what they preach and grow within in the experiences of their lives. Sun in Punarvasu natives are full of life experiences and usually academic ones, which help them learn, grow, and evolve as a person. And so it is essential that they use those experience and education to push themselves. This position has the vulnerability to be scatterbrained or lazy in the fulfillment of all the wonderful potential they have. And so it is key from an evolutionary perspective to stay focused on not just how to talk the talk, but how to walk the walk and use our wisdom to help ourselves and others in daily life. It's a little bit about the sun in Punarvasu Nakshatra. Next, we're going to be discussing the sun in Pushya Nakshatra, which is in the heart of Cancer. It starts at 3.2 degrees Cancer and goes to 16.4 degrees Cancer. Now, Pushya Nakshatra has the ruling planet Saturn, which is an enemy to the sun. From a Nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a very challenging sun placement. These natives with the sun in Pushya are very giving, loving, kind souls, often devoted to their family or career. They must deal with certain obstacles in their life to develop strong boundaries to protect their vision and trajectory of their lives. Pushya Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Lord Brihaspati, the Lord of Prayers. The sun's unbounding energy catalyzes with Lord Brihaspati to experience a life in which one's prayers are answered. The direct connection with that energy which answers prayers with the Agni of the sun will allow prayers with the proper intention to reach the spiritual plane. Often our prayers or wishes are selfish and therefore are not pure enough to reach the spiritual plane to be answered. But with the sun in Pushya, true humbleness and austerity can be embodied to make the prayer pure. This means that the sun in Pushya native can experience a life with good health and prosperity for themselves and their loved ones, and can support and nurture that which needs to be nurtured. The positive manifestation of the sun in Pushya includes someone who is devotional in their nature, extremely giving, kind, and reliable, trustworthy. They can be great providers for their families and take care of who needs to be taken care of, whether financially or in terms of time and service. They are connected to Brihaspati, and therefore the evolutionary manifestation of sun in Pushya creates a very austere and humble native whose wishes and prayers are for the betterment of everyone's life and are selfless, not selfish prayers. They will be blessed with many fortunes with the sun in Pushya when they continue to serve and be devoted in the right direction with austerity, and humility. The negative manifestation of the sun in Pushya includes the vulnerability to be codependent and have issues with feeling overly obligatory. The sun in Pushya native so deeply wants to give and support others that often they decline their own feelings. From an evolutionary perspective, they must develop emotional maturity and proper boundaries, and sometimes it is safe to be vulnerable with someone with we trust, but when we're someone we don't trust, we have to have proper boundaries and be on guard and not let that toxic energy in. Due to the vulnerability to being preoccupied with others, it is important that they practice alone time and time working on themselves and their spiritual practices so all of their challenges will be limited. That's a little of the sun in Pushya Nakshatra. Now we're going to complete Cancer with the sun in Ashlesha Nakshatra, which starts at 16.4 degrees and ends at the last degree of Cancer 30. Ashlesha Nakshatra has the ruling planet Mercury, which is neutral towards the sun. Mercury likes the sun is okay with Mercury. It burns it up. From a Nakshatra dignity perspective, this can be a very interesting sun placement. Ashlesha combines with the energy of the sun to create an extremely intelligent, determined, and deep individual. These people are not concerned with the superficial aspect of things, but are rather indulged at what's really going on and enjoy solving problems for everyone. Ashlesha Sun natives are extremely knowledgeable, they love education, and they want to know how they can apply this love of knowledge with career and or family success. Ashlesha Nakshatra has the ruling devata of Naga, Lord of Serpents. The Naga Lord is one of the most precious to be worshipped by certain groups in Hindu culture. Lord Naga is deeply connected to Lord Shiva and the alignment of ourselves with a higher power. The sun in this nakshatra is both deeply intelligent and spiritual, and may find themselves drawn to outside of the box spiritual paths through the influence of Lord Naga. They can have a deep interest in the studying of the mystical path and developing spiritual techniques for their spiritual growth. Naga influences the native to be snake-like in a positive way, sliding out of tough situations and into good ones, and can create a deep go-with-the-flow energy for the sun in Ashlesha. They are deeply connected to what truly matters, and in their evolutionary form are faithful observers who believe in miracles and the manifestation of a higher power and a connection to the higher power in the life. The positive manifestation of the sun in Ashlesha includes someone who is intelligent, mystical, and is able to see outside of the box and has a unique perspective. These natives are deeply connected to the higher power, but the intellectual strength of Sun in Ashlesha encourages the person to have the experience of spirituality when there is education or experience behind it to truly believe it. This is why they are perfectly apt to enjoy chanting, Vedic astrology, and other Vedic science or practices which allow them to experience deep spiritual joy. These natives are snake-like in their material interactions as well in a good sense, and have the ability to get the better side of the deal and prosper in the career. They can also be creative in their field of interest and provide unique and innovative support. The negative manifestation of the sun in Ashlesha includes someone who is vulnerable to be stubborn and set in their ways, unwilling to do something they're not comfortable with. The unevolved, challenging manifestation of sun in Ashlesha leads the native to have serious trouble getting out of their comfort zone or turtle shell, and therefore seeing and receiving all that beautiful world has to offer. Also, due to Naga's influence, they can become highly spiritual when evolved, but when unevolved are distracted by the material aspect of life and the spiritual gets declined. These natives should be concerned to keep an open mind and see what life has to offer, and they will prosper, excel, and succeed in many ways. Thank you today for taking the time to enjoy my Sun in Every Nakshatra series beginning, where we took the sun through the first 9 nakshatras. It was such an honor and pleasure to share this research with you today. I will be working on my research for the next 9 nakshatras of the sun, and look forward to continuing this series for the community. Many blessings. Hari Om. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste.